Hello, I'm Teacher Kelly Tagg, and with me today I have Dr. Emily Levy. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here today.
Yes, excited to have you. So, tell us about yourself and about your tutoring business.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. Well, I'm the founder and director of EBL Coaching, which is a one on one tutoring program that's based in New York City and New Jersey, but also actually worldwide with our virtual platform. And we help students as young as the preschool level all the way through the adult level who have special education needs, including students who have dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, autism, ADHD, speech and language challenges, really all types of special education needs. And we use all research-based multisensory techniques that are individualized to the needs of each student to build core academic skills, reading, spelling, writing, math, study skills, anything academic related.
Okay, and so what should parents do if they're struggling with reading?
Well, if parents are noticing that their child is struggling with reading, the first thing I always tell parents is talk to their child's teacher, see if their teacher's also noticing those same kinds of struggles. If that's the case, see if the teacher can build in some extra accommodations without having any kind of diagnosis. But if the challenge continues, I definitely recommend seeking an evaluation either through the child's school, or some families prefer to do it privately, but to see if perhaps something deeper may be going on, like a learning disability, so that parents can ultimately seek the right and the best support for their child.
Right, and so what is the Orton-Gillingham approach to reading?
The Orton Gillingham approach to reading is research based and considered to be the most effective methodology for helping students who struggle with reading to build those core reading skills. It's structured, it's systematic, it's multisensory, and it's a phonics based approach to building reading skills. It's so incredibly effective, and it's literally changed the lives of so many students who have received this kind of support.
What should parents look for if they want to find a tutor?
Well, I always say that it's really important, especially if the child is struggling with a skill or a set of skills, that they don't just work with a tutor who does homework help or who just kind of helps on a per diem kind of basis, but that they have a real structured plan in place and that the tutor is using specific research based methodologies that are most appropriate for that child's needs. That might be Orton Gillingham tutoring for a child who has dyslexia or struggles with reading. It might be using a research based multisensory approach to building writing skills if writing is what the child struggles with. So, again, it's really important that it's not just generic tutoring, but that it's tutoring by someone who specializes in the skill areas that the child struggles with, and who will have a structured plan for the tutoring, again, using the right research-based multisensory techniques that are really best for each child.
What can parents do to help their children at home with reading?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of things parents can do. So first off, I always say they should speak to their child's teacher and see if there's anything that the teacher recommends they do at home, whether it's reading certain kinds of books or journaling or whatever the teacher might recommend. It's a good idea to always kind of work as a team with their teacher. The same thing is true with the tutor. If the child works with a tutor on a regular basis, and this is something that we do as well, we'll always suggest things that parents can do in between sessions to reinforce what we're covering. It might be a reading game. It might be reading certain material, but it's whatever we feel is most appropriate to reinforce what we're doing in between sessions. Also, of course, do lots of reading for younger kids, read out loud to them, but don't just read out loud to them, ask them questions along the way. What just happened in this story? Why do you think the character's feeling this way? What do you think might happen next? Really kind of engage them in the story. And then when kids are ready to read on their own, maybe do a combination of having the child do some reading and the parent do some reading, and then eventually have the child do more and more reading, but continue to talk about the story, talk about the book, really make them active readers and help them to enjoy the process while also, of course, comprehending what they're reading, which is the essence of reading.
Right. And Rebecca says working as a team is so important. It's true. And I used to ask my kids' teacher, and if the teacher gives your kids 20 minutes of reading as homework assignment, do the assignment. And I know just the more reading, the better. Is there anything else you want my audience to know that we didn't already talk about?
Well, I think first off, I completely agree. Working as a team is so key, whether it's a teacher, a tutor, if sometimes students might have other therapists, like a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, the more we can all week work as a team and stay in touch with each other, the better. And then I always, sort of in general, like to tell parents that they're always their child's best advocate. And if they feel like something isn't right, or they're noticing continued struggles with homework or with reading or whatever it is, they should take action. Again, speak to their child's teacher, reach out, look into a possible evaluation of their child, because the more proactive we can be early on, the more we can prevent future challenges down the road. So that's just so key and so important. But we've helped so many kids who struggle academically to really turn things around, to thrive, to succeed and excel in school. And it's always just fills me with gratitude when I hear these stories of kids who are able to thrive and do so well in school with the right systematic approach.
Okay, and we have a question from the audience. Rebecca says, when do you recommend switching from reading to them having them read to you, at least part of the nightly reading?
I think it really depends on the child. It depends on their reading proficiency. When they're at a point where they're able to read even basic books, like Bob books, for instance, for kindergartners or first graders, maybe have the child read one of those mini books, and then you as the parent read a more language-filled book that's more complex and probably too complex for the child to read, but you're kind of still doing that combination of the child doing some basic reading and you doing some reading out loud. So I would say it depends on the child, but as young as kindergarten, first grade, depending on when they're ready to start reading on their own.
Oh, that actually gives me an idea for a student I have. So yes. And I also want to comment, I like what you said about the parents being their children's best advocate, because I do think there are teachers out there that thinks, well, I'm the educator, but I've been both on the parent side of special education and the teacher side. And I have to tell you, nobody cares about your child like you do. So you're definitely an important part of the special education team, and definitely speak up. I agree. I loved reading to my kids. Kids love read alouds all the way up to adults. I used to read to my college roommates during exam week. Oh, you read to each other. That sounds fun.
It's great. And, so many adults listen to books on tape. Sometimes it's nice to just have someone else do the reading and you just do the listening. And there's still a lot of great skills, comprehension skills, and language skills that can be built by having someone else do the reading and you do the listening. So I am a big fan of that.
Yes, and actually I commute now, so I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks, and you learn just as much as when you're doing the reading as listening. So and I recommend reading to your kids as long as possible. Yes, I agree.
Definitely.
She said, thanks, and great memories to read aloud. That's
Absolutely.
fun. Yes. All right. Well, thanks again, and for coming on my channel. So
Thank you again for having me.
bye, everyone. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
all of you who are here.